Hello and welcome to Bird Talk Radio. I am your host, Joshua Martin. I'll be going over the games, the scores, and, everything Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. Now let's start the show. Hello and welcome to another edition of Bird Talk Radio. I am wearing this special RIP, by the way, to Mr. Doom. I'm going to take this off real quick, but hello and welcome to another edition of Bird Talk Radio. I'm your host, Joshua Martin. Katie, I did send another thing to Freddie's email, so if you check that real quick and download it, because I did win a special little thing this past weekend. Obviously, if you're a sports fan, you may know what that is. So I'll put that on the screen in a little bit. We had some good football this past weekend. We finally have our playoff set for the NFC and AFC. Football is finally over. It's time for playoff season. We found out who the first overall pick would be. Chicago Bears. They're going to get the first overall pick. I don't think it mattered between Texans and the Chicago Bears of whoever got the first overall pick, because I don't think Chicago is going to go and get Bryce Young. I think they're happy with Justin Fields for now. So Houston's obviously still going to get either Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, depending on who they like more. And I think the Chicago Bears are going to go out and get probably a defensive player. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, that's set in stone. Playoffs are set in stone. I'll talk about that in a little bit. For now, I'm going to go over what happened in the games for a little bit. Kansas City and Las Vegas, the battle for the number one seed. Kansas City, all they needed to do was win, and that's what they did. 31-13. Patrick Mahomes, 202 passing yards, 18-26, one passing touchdown, and they secured the number one spot. They do have home field advantage almost throughout the playoffs. The AFC Championship game is going to be played in a neutral site, I believe. Don't know where the site's going to be held as of right now, but that's where the final decision has come to. That's going to be played in a neutral site for now. Another game Saturday, Tennessee and Jacksonville Jaguars. Huge game, battle for the AFC South in that one, and Jacksonville comes out and wins it 20-16. I mean, Trevor Lawrence didn't even play I will say the past, 7-8 games, we've seen him throw 330, 3 touchdowns every single game, basically. We didn't see this past game, but they still won it, thankfully. Trevor Lawrence, 212 passing yards, 20-32, 1 passing touchdown, and got the win over the Tennessee Titans. Titans are out, Jacksonville's in. Game that didn't matter, Tampa Bay versus Atlanta. Tampa Bay was already in with the 4 spot, winning the NFC South. They did lose that game, and here's a statistic for Tom Brady. It's his first losing season in his career. He went 8-9, still made the playoffs. And he's still going to the playoffs, though. That's the only thing that really matters, and that's the only thing he really cares about. So they'll play the Dallas Cowboys in the first round of the wild card. Like I said, I'll go talk about that later. Game that really didn't matter, Carolina versus the Patriots. Carolina versus the Saints, New Orleans Saints. Carolina won that one 10-7. Not the biggest game in the world. Sam Darnold threw only 43 passing yards, 515 the whole game, 2 interceptions. Not the greatest performance. I don't know how he still won it. I mean, Andy Dalton, 171 passing yards. Alvin Kamara, 107 rushing yards. Even Chris Olave had a beautiful receiving touchdown, but still couldn't beat the Panthers in that one. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did have a huge opportunity. They did go out there and did what they needed to do, but the Dolphins sadly won their game. So the Dolphins are going to be moving on to the playoffs without the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's his face? Mike Tomlin. He still has a positive season. I think the Steelers have not had a under 500 season since the season before they drafted Ben Roethlisberger, which is a long time ago, 2003, something like that. So Pittsburgh, they've been a good team, especially under Mike Tomlin. They've been an amazing team under him. New England versus Buffalo. I think the only thing you need to take away from that game is just look up what happened opening kickoff. I got a little teary-eyed watching that. It's beautiful. Josh Allen, even amazing game from him. 254 passing yards, 19-31, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. They beat Buffalo 35-23. New England is out of the playoffs now as well, too. Minnesota versus Chicago. Minnesota got the win in that one, 29-13. Although they did get the win, I believe they have the 3 spot because San Francisco did win as well, too. San Francisco has the better record, so they have the 3 spot. San Francisco has the 2 spot. Minnesota Vikings has the 3 spot. And which I'll show you the bracket later, courtesy of CBS Sports. I used their graphic. I was too lazy to create one. I believe the 49ers go against last place, which would be the Seahawks now, and the Vikings are going to go against the Cowboys, who have the 5 seed. I believe that's how it is. I'll show you in a little bit, though. No, because the Vikings are going to go against the Giants, who have the 6 seed. I'm sorry. Baltimore versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati got the win in that one because they didn't want this coin toss, whatever that was going to be for whoever gets home field. That's silly. Cincinnati comes out and just dominates them, 27-16. Win over the Baltimore. Baltimore did have to play the 3rd-string quarterback, Anthony Brown. He came in. Obviously, it's a tough position for him. They're looking for Lamar Jackson to come back for the first round of playoffs, hopefully. They'll definitely have Tyler Huntley ready to go, if anything, for Baltimore. But Joe Burrow, 215 passing yards, 25-42, 1 passing touchdown. Obviously, the one to Jamar Chase. 27-16, like I said, win over the Baltimore in that one. They clinched the division, and they get the 3rd spot in the AFC. Houston and Indianapolis, that was probably the most exciting game of the weekend by far. 2 teams that really not fighting for anything. I guess Houston was fighting for the number 1 overall pick if they lost it, but they came out and win it. They score an insane, I think it was like a 4th and 20. They scored, they were down 31-30. Instead of going for the PAT to tie it up, they go for a 2-point conversion for the win. They get it, and they win it 32-31. That was a really exciting game. Davis Mills, quarterback for Houston Texans, 298 passing yards, 22-38, 3 passing touchdowns. Sam Ehlinger did not do that bad either, 209 passing yards, 23-35, 2 passing touchdowns. Both quarterbacks did have 2 interceptions as well, too. So it was a very exciting football game on both sides, really. And then the story of Miami. If we can pull up the first image, I believe it is of Miami Dolphins, yeah. Raheem Mostert right there, he had a really great game for them. Skylar Thompson comes in. He plays quarterback, 3rd-string quarterback for Miami Dolphins. He comes in, 152 passing yards, 20-31. We saw him in preseason. He looked better in preseason. Obviously, there's a difference between fighting a playoff spot in an actual regular season game compared to preseason, where you just, go out and just see how the game feels and all that. But he went up against Joe Flacco, veteran quarterback for Jets, 149 passing yards, 18-33. He didn't do well either. He did love Garrett Wilson, though. 89 yards for 9 receptions. He could have done a little better than that, but Garrett Wilson's obviously looking very bright for the New York future. But Miami did win that one with a bunch of just 3 field goals over Jets' 2 field goals. They won it 11-6. They got a safety at the end with this. The Jets were trying to do like a lateral pass, like the Miami Miracle kind of thing, but it didn't work out so well. So with the Miami win over the New York Jets, the Miami gets the last seed in the wild card. They make it to the playoffs for the first time in 2016. and they get to go against the Buffalo Bills. Don't expect much from the Dolphins in that game, but they have a chance. They haven't won a playoff game in 22 years, I believe it is. Yeah. And there was a report saying Mike McDaniels would probably be out of a head coaching job after the season. That's a terrible report. That's a terrible report. I don't think they should fire him at all, especially if they lost against the Jets. I mean, look at the injuries that they dealt with. Look at the medical stories that they have to deal with Tua, and all his concussions. It affects the whole team and not just that one position. It affects the whole team because they lose out on their main guy, So even though they had that 5-game losing streak, they get the win against the Jets, and they claim the last spot of the wild card. If we go on to the next image on the screen for the Eagles, we finally secured the number 1 spot, got the home field advantage, and we won the NFC East finally because that MVP man right there came in to show out. Now, if you don't understand, if you don't say he deserves MVP, just walk straight into a wall, blindfolded or something like that, because you do not know what you're talking about. I understand how Patrick Mahomes is having an unbelievable season, but the MVP is someone that changes the team into a new direction. And we saw what happened to this man being out 2 games. Just 2 games, easy games against the Saints. Who else did we? Oh, the Cowboys. That was a tough game. I'll admit that. It was a good battle, tough game. But we lost to the Saints too at home. We just needed that man to come in here, and it wasn't like a dominant performance. I mean, maybe at halftime it was because we were up 16-0 at halftime, but he comes in and just gives all of Philly a good boost, good mentality, saying, hey, I'm still here, I'm still the guy, I'm still the man that's going to bring this team to victories, especially when it comes more to playoff time. He went 229, 20 and 35. He did 1 interception, but he did have beautiful receptions to A.J. Brown. The slant, A.J. Brown now the Eagles' franchise leader in receiving yards in the total season. Congratulations to him. But he had 95 receiving yards off 4 receptions. Obviously, that one beautiful slant to get the record, and then a beautiful backside fly route to him is just a beautiful sight to see. And I'm pretty sure Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown were very happy to have that man back right there. All right, going on to Arizona versus San Francisco. It started off a little shaky for San Fran, but obviously they come out and Brock Purdy. 178 passing yards, 15 of 20, and 3 passing touchdowns. They get the number 2 spot in the playoffs. They don't get a bye, but they do get the 2 spot, and they will go against the Seahawks, their divisional foes, I should say. But did San Francisco won that one 38-13. Los Angeles Rams versus Seattle Seahawks. Talking about that game, went into overtime. And beautiful interception by Seattle. You got to look it up. I think Baker Mayfield threw it just deep throw. And the man was wide open, but the defender comes all the way across the field. And instead of jumping in front of him and catching it with the ball in front of him, he runs sideways and catches it over his shoulder and then turns around. I don't know how to explain it. You just got to look this one up because unbelievable interceptions. I mean, after that, they go down the field, get the field goal, and they win at 19-16, but unbelievable. Geno Smith didn't have the greatest games. Kenneth Walker, rookie for them, had a beautiful game, 114 rushing yards, 29 carries. I think we're just the Seahawks versus 49ers. It's obviously going to be in San Francisco. That's just going to be a tough game. I mean, they both know each other pretty well because they're, like I said, they're divisional foes. We'll just got to see what Geno Smith does. Geno Smith versus Brock Purdy, that's going to be the story of the game for that one. It's just whatever QB can battle greater. Dallas versus Washington. Honestly, I really don't know what to say about this game. I mean, Dallas just didn't look like Dallas at all out there. Dak Prescott, 128 passing yards, 14 of 37. He had a touchdown, 1 interception, but that one touchdown was the only touchdown the whole game. I mean, they lost 26-6. Sam Howell, the rookie quarterback they drafted for Washington, he played the game, 169 passing yards, 11-19, 1 touchdown, and he had 1 interception as well, too. Chargers versus Denver, a game that really didn't matter, but they still played some key players for the Chargers. Don't know why. Herbert played, Eckler played, Keenan Allen played, but I believe they had a serious injury. If I can look, let me look it up real quick. Whatchamacallit did win that game. The Broncos did win that game, though. I'm trying to find out. Oh, it's just Mike Williams. Oh, that's a huge loss. I'm trying to skim through this thing. As of right now, it just kind of looks like Mike Williams was carted off the field. Huge loss. Big wide receiver for the Chargers. Him and Keenan Allen, 2 beautiful opposing side wide receivers. Hard to cover both of them because they're both just absolutely terrific. But he may be out for the playoffs now. We'll see what happens with that. And then Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers might be out. He might be done. He lost to the Detroit Lions, 20-16. Detroit had a chance, but Seattle won it. So now Detroit didn't have a chance, but the Packers still had a chance. Packers needed to win it to get the last wild card spot. But since they lost to the Detroit Lions, the Packers are out of it. Aaron Rodgers is out, and we'll see what he does next year, whether he retires, whether he goes to a new team, whether he stays in Green Bay. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he just got paid. But he goes off the field. I think Jamal Williams asked for Aaron Rodgers' jersey. Okay, and Aaron Rodgers goes, not this one, not this one. It may be his last game there. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very exciting. That's it for football. I do have the playoffs picture. I will show that after commercial break, though. What else am I going to talk about? College football championship is coming up soon. And I like to talk about basketball a little bit because the Nets, they did lose recently. I forgot who they lost to, but they're back on a 2-game win streak, and this team is looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. So we'll be right back.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Hello, and welcome back to Bird Talk Radio. I'm your host, Joshua Martin. Thinking about a little bit of name change, too, by the way. We'll see what happens in the future with that. But if we pull up that playoff picture right now, I'm just going to talk about it for a little bit. If we can go, take me off and then just go straight photo because I'm blocking the San Francisco 49ers picture a little bit. But let's see. We got the Chargers versus the Jaguars. I'm gonna go from the bottom left to the bottom. No, I'm gonna go from the top left to the bottom left, top right to the bottom right. Okay. Chargers versus the Jaguars. That one is gonna be in Jacksonville just because the Jaguars did win the AFC South, so they have that home field advantage right there. And I kind of do have Jacksonville winning that one. As long as we see Trevor Lawrence, how we've seen him the past 7 games, I think I have the Jaguars winning that one. That does not mean they go against the Kansas City Chiefs. Whoever has the lowest seed, say Jacksonville wins, okay, and Baltimore beats Cincinnati. Not going to happen, but just say it does. Baltimore is going to go in and play Kansas City, unless, obviously, the Dolphins go and beat the Bills. It's the lowest seed go against the highest seed. That's how it goes afterwards. But I got Jacksonville winning that one, okay? I got Bengals definitely beating the Baltimore Ravens, especially if Lamar Jackson's going to be out this game as well too. It's going to be in Cincinnati too. They did get the win. Don't got to do the stupid coin toss. So I got Cincinnati winning that one. They got the 3 spot. Jags have the 4 spot, and I do have the Bills winning against Miami because it's in Buffalo. I don't know what's up with Tua. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I don't know if he's going to play this past game, but Buffalo will have everyone for them as the main people, you know. So what we're looking at right now is Cincinnati versus Buffalo. That one would be in Buffalo because Buffalo has the higher seed. And then I guess we're going to go Jacksonville versus Kansas City. It will be in Kansas City because Kansas City has number 1 home field advantage. Looking on the other side, the NFC side, I do have the Cowboys winning over the Buccaneers. I don't know what Tom Brady can do in the playoffs. I mean, we saw how much he struggled in the regular season. I mean, he went 8-9 and made the playoffs. I don't know how much further he can go in the playoffs. We'll see what happens. But even Dallas Cowboys, the Dak Prescott is, I don't know if he's leading the league in interceptions, but he's high up there. He's not having the greatest of years. He's trying to make some tight window throws that just don't happen. So right now I do have the Dallas Cowboys winning that one. Giants versus the Vikings. I do have the Vikings winning that one too. Hopefully Justin Jefferson, not him playing a little better, but hopefully Kirk Cousins can spot out Justin Jefferson a little more in that game. So the 3 spot there, 5 spot for the Cowboys. And then I have the San Francisco 49ers beating the Seattle Seahawks because I don't know if we just got, like I said, it's all between Geno Smith and Brock Purdy in that game. I do think, although Brock Purdy is still a rookie, I think San Francisco has more weapons with Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. I don't know what's up with Deebo Samuel if he's coming back, but the defense is looking a lot better for San Francisco as well too. So if that happens, 2 versus 3, San Francisco versus Minnesota, that'll be played at San Francisco. And then Dallas would come back home to Philly. I don't think Dallas has a chance coming back home to Philly, especially with a home playoff game. That crowd is going to be rowdy. As of right now, if I look at this, what I feel right now is a still Bills versus Eagles Super Bowl game. And that game is going to be held in... Oh, I forgot. Where's this game held at? Where is 23 Super Bowl going to be? All right, we go ISO on me. State Farm Stadium. Oh, Arizona, Glendale, Arizona. It's going to be in the Cardinals Stadium. I think what's-his-face had, Tom Brady had history there or something like that. I think that's where he got the Falcons 28-3 comeback. Don't quote me on that. But NCAA football, we got the game tonight. Oh, wow. Wes, we do got the college football championship game tonight. TCU versus Georgia. Does TCU have a chance? No, they don't. But I got Georgia winning it 52. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a good game. I'll give TCU 52. Nah. This is tough. I'm gonna say 52-35. No, because Georgia's defense is just. Oh wow, that's gonna be a tough game today. Stetson Bennett is a huge factor for Georgia. He obviously won the championship game for them last year. He's a Heisman finalist this year for his position. Still not a first round pick. I don't even think he may be an undrafted player, Stetson Bennett, going into the NFL. That shows the difference between college and the professionals, and it shows how stacked Georgia's team is. Georgia's they're favored by 12.5 points right now for a championship game. I hope TCU wins. I really do. I hope TCU wins. But I think Church is going to come out here and just completely dominate this team. I feel bad for them. But just go out and watch that game tonight, 7:30 p.m. championship game. Oh! And then going into basketball. Boston Celtics are definitely going. I mean, they got a tough road. I think for the Celtics, the toughest road is the Eastern Conference. If they can make it out of the Eastern Conference and make it to the finals, I think they have a chance of winning the finals. The Warriors aren't doing so hot right now. They're 20-20. They may get into the play-in tournament. I know Steph Curry I think he's injured right now, so we'll wait and see for him to come back, see what they can do the second half of the season. But for now, Celtics are by far looking the best team in NBA right now. But like I said, the Eastern Conference is going to be the toughest place to make it out of, especially going against the Nets and Milwaukee Bucks. Some other teams to look out for, obviously the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell's doing absolutely beautiful for them. Philadelphia Sixers, hopefully we can get our big three going again. Harden, Maxey, and Embiid. Embiid's having an unbelievable season as well. 24-15 on the season. Everyone else, not that worried about. Pacers, yeah. New York Knicks, kinda. And then the Miami Heat, I don't know what's up with them, but the Chicago Bulls might be on a little bit of a rise too. They're actually looking pretty nice. They're on a 3-game win streak, and I believe it's the Chicago Bulls that ended the Nets. I think it was like a 12-game win streak or something. I think the Chicago Bulls ended that for them. So Chicago might be a little team to look out for in the near future. We'll see what happens to them. And then in the Western Conference, we have the Nuggets, Grizzlies, and the Pelicans battling for that one spot. Not really the Pelicans, more Denver Nuggets and the Grizzlies. Obviously, Jokic is looking for a 3-peat on the MVP. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We'll see what happens. And then the Mavericks, obviously, are in the 4th spot. Luka Doncic is having an MVP season for him as well, too. Grizzlies are on a 6-game win streak, though. And then MLB free agency, the biggest deal that came out recently was Rafael Devers is staying in Boston. They signed an 11-year contract, $331 million. The contract is expected to fold in the $17.5 million salary Devers agreed to earlier this week to avoid whatever. Corey Kluber, he's also going to the Boston Red Sox. Eric Hosmer for the Chicago Bears, Chicago Cubs, has agreed to contract with Chicago. Anything else? Not really. I think I covered everything else. And then one last thing, I guess I'll talk a little bit about hockey too. Boston Bruins, the 4-game win streak right now. They're just dominating all of hockey, really. They got the best record, 32-4 in their division. They're winning their division, obviously right behind. They got a good division. They got the Maple Leafs right behind them, and then they got not dynasty because they didn't get the 3-peat, but the Tampa Bay Lightning right underneath them as well too. Looking for another playoff run. Carolina Hurricanes, they're having an unbelievable season. Number 2 team in the NHL right now, 25-8. Dallas Stars looking really good. I believe they made it into the Stanley Cup not too long ago, or they had a deep playoff run sometime recently. I think it was. They're looking pretty good. Vegas Golden Knights, they've been dominating ever since they joined the NHL. And the Seattle Kraken are not doing too bad either. It's 22-12. Are they the newest team? I don't remember if they joined this year or if it was last year, but they're a new team as well. Seattle Kraken, not doing bad either. We're not going to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers, 15-18. Nice. Good job, guys. I'm done. MVP, he should be. And then RIP to my man Doom over here. Catch me next week. I think I'm back now on Mondays at 11 a.m., so you can check me at that specific time every single day. Bird Talk Radio 2022 on Facebook. You can email me, birdtalkradio2022@gmail.com, or you can call into the studio. I should give the phone number at the beginning of the show, but now that you have it at the end of the show, you can call in next week at 888-994-4995, Studio A. And like I said, I just want you to guys call in, and I want some heated conversations, some heated debates. All right, so I'll catch you next week, Monday, 11 a.m. Please like, subscribe, follow, and I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for watching Bird Talk Radio. Again, I am your host, Joshua Martin. If you want to contact me or be on the show, just email me at birdtalkradio2022@gmail.com, or you can call in during the show at 888-994-4995 in Studio A. Have a wonderful day, and remember, go Birds.